Well, to truly understand what this month means to our local AAPI community, I sat down with 5 people to get their perspective. All right, let's kick off our panel today with our discussion. We have a lineup of guests in studio to discuss AAPI and the diversities within AAPI culture. So our panelists here today, we have Rayanne Williams, an adoptee, a Korean American who creates Korean language meetups in Atlanta to foster a sense of community. Also, Justin Rodriguez, a Laotian Mexican and also a leader within the Laotian American Society. Dr. Anar Parikh is South Asian and also works at the organization Asian Americans Advancing Justice. Tai Nguyen is a Vietnamese-Filipino public health researcher, and Victoria Register, a proud member, proud of their Chinese culture, and works as a nurse and community organizer. Thank you all for being here today with us. All right, so we all know what AAPI stands for, but what does AAPI mean to you? And perhaps most importantly, is that how you identify?
To me, it's such a diverse community. If we were anywhere outside of white-centric culture, we would not be grouped together.
I definitely do try to find the balance of representing my Laotian heritage with also being Mexican American as well, and trying to find the balance on everything that I do.
So I think for me personally, it's very heavy on both the Asian and the American piece because I'm a Chinese adoptee. So a large part of my identity is being in a gray area, being in the middle of both Chinese as well as very culturally American as well.
Depending on where you are, specifically where I grew up in California, I really was immersed in a place where being Asian or Asian American was the homogenous structure.
And speaking of being a minority, sometimes you're often reminded, living here in America, people may ask you, where are you from? And they insinuate or assume that you're not American. Does that bother you, and how do you respond?
So I have experience in the healthcare field in my background. They would say things along the lines of, oh, you people are the reason why this pandemic is here, and just really outlandish things relating Asian people to the pandemic that was happening. And I think that's just further motivated me to push for advocacy and awareness.
I try to make the encounter almost as awkward as possible for the person who's asking that question. I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's the only place that my parents have lived since they moved to the United States. I think that's just the beginning.
What do you all think is something that people misunderstand about your community and your culture?
I think another thing that's difficult for people who aren't from an AAPI space to wrap their head around is generational happiness and generational responsibility. So ingrained in me and many of my friends is the idea of how will your parents react.
My parents worked really hard to undo some of the pressures that were put upon them and really allow my sibling and I to kind of explore the lives that we wanted.
For each of you, how do you carry your culture and how do you keep it alive?
I keep it alive by trying to learn the language, going to visit. I've been to Korea 5 times now.
Honoring my identity as a Chinese American adoptee, I think that involves holding a lot of grace and patience with myself.
For me, I think I've had a very privileged upbringing coming from the community that I grew up in that had a very large population of Laotians that were really building an infrastructure of a community and setting roots here, and I got to really experience that.
It starts with my introduction. I'm Thai, I'm Filipino, and I'm Vietnamese. That really sets the tone for bypassing I'm Asian American, but really honing in on my specific individual identity.
And you are all doing it by being here with us today. You're honoring your culture. So thank you so much for sharing your story, your culture, your experiences. And I know I learned a lot, and I know our viewers did as well. So thank you so much.